Hey guys, welcome to Crush Carb, where we crush carbs, not flavors. Have you ever wondered how yogurt is made? Maybe not, right? Because it's easy to grab at the grocery store. I've actually been eating homemade yogurt since I was a kid. And after getting married, I started making it regularly at home. So today, I'm excited to share with you all my simple recipe for making delicious homemade yogurt. This is really easy and very, very healthy. So let's get started. To make yogurt, you need just two ingredients, and that is milk and your yogurt starter. So I'm starting off here with boiling milk. So the milk you want to use is whole milk. You have to use whole milk because otherwise your yogurt will not be formed properly. It will be a little liquidy and it won't solidify properly. So you have to use whole milk. You want to let it boil until you see that it's starting to boil. So if you look at this, it is starting to boil. So I have this on medium heat, and you want to check on this occasionally because you don't want your milk to spill out at all. That's going to be a big mess. So you want to keep an eye on this. You see that it is starting to boil. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer this. So I got my milk transferred to a bowl. Now just a quick but a very important note. When you're making yogurt at home, the milk is going to be very, very hot because it's boiling milk, right? So please be extremely careful when you're transferring it to a bowl. Okay, if you need to use oven mitts or use like a thick towel, please do so. Do whatever you need to protect yourself because staying safe is very important. I don't want anyone getting hurt while making this recipe, and this should not stop you from making homemade yogurt. So the rest of the process is really easy. So after it cools, you add your yogurt starter, and then what I like to do is I wrap it up in a towel to keep it warm, and then I store it in the oven without the oven being on. You're just going to keep it in the oven, just a storage location for the yogurt, right? You don't need to turn on your oven at all. It's wrapped up in a towel, so it is warm, and then that's going to be finishing the process. So now what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be waiting for the milk to cool down. You want to get the milk to the right temperature. And that temperature is usually when you can touch the milk. It's hot, but it's not super hot, right? It's to the point where it's touchable. So after the milk gets to that right temperature, you're going to be adding your yogurt starter. So I want to talk about what the yogurt starter is. The yogurt starter is usually the previous batch of yogurt that you have made. So if you're making yogurt for the first time, you're going to have to buy yogurt from the grocery store. And the brand that I recommend buying because it's the healthiest option is from the brand White Mountain. So it's White Mountain Bulgarian yogurt. It's plain yogurt. This is super healthy because it has a lot of probiotics and it has very less preservatives. So I suggest using that brand when you're first making yogurt at home. So after you make your first batch of yogurt, it's very important you save some of that yogurt for your next batch of yogurt because you cannot make yogurt without yogurt. So what I like to do usually is once my yogurt is made, I like to go ahead and save some for my starter because otherwise you can forget, and then what if your husband finishes the yogurt and then you don't have any yogurt to make it? And then you'll have to go to the grocery store and grab another batch of yogurt, right, to make yogurt at home. So make sure you do save some of the yogurt. So the milk has cooled down. So the temperature you want it to cool down is to 115 degrees. So it doesn't matter how long you let it cool down. When you check the temperature, if it's lower than 115 degrees, you can just put it back on the gas and warm it up until you get to that desired temperature. So this temperature is when it is hot, but not too hot. Like you can put your finger in the milk and it's hot, but it's not like it's going to burn you. So that's the temperature that you want to seek for. So now we're going to be adding our starters. So this is my yogurt that I have from before. So you want to make sure you grab the solid part of the yogurt because when you're making the yogurt, there is going to be some water in the yogurt as well. That's just the natural process of making the yogurt. So you want to make sure that when you're adding the starter, you have the solid part that you're adding in to the milk. So here I have 2 tablespoons of the starter, and that's what you want to add when you have 10 cups of your milk. So I'm going to be adding that. So when you're adding that, I'm going to add it in small amounts. You want to make sure that you blend everything just with your finger so the solid part just all gets creamy like that. Just like that. And you're going to add that in your milk. And I'm going to do the same thing for the remaining of my yogurt. Alrighty. So I've added all my starter, and now you want to mix the starter with the spoon so that it all mixes in. So I have my container here on the towel, and I'm just going to cover the container with the towel, just like that, so it stays warm. Because what we're going to be doing with this is that we're going to keep this like this inside the oven, but you're not turning on the oven, you're just using it as a storage location, and you're going to keep this here like this for 10 hours, and then we're going to put it in the refrigerator. So now we just want to leave it in the oven for at least 10 hours. I say at least 10 hours because it could be 12 hours, it could be 13 hours. If it happens to be so, that's absolutely fine. But make sure you don't forget about it, because I have made the mistake in the past where I forget about it and the entire day goes by and I remember the next day at nighttime that, oh, I had my yogurt in the oven. So make sure you don't do that, because you don't want your yogurt to go bad, right? It's just a time waste right there. So make sure just at least 10 hours, but do not exceed, I would say, about 13 or 14 hours. So just after at least 10 hours, all you do is you're going to put it in the refrigerator, and that's going to finish the fermentation process. So after keeping the yogurt in the oven with the oven off for 10 hours, you then want to put it in the refrigerator so it can finish the fermentation process. So you want to wait for the yogurt to solidify. So I do mine for 10 hours in the refrigerator. You really want to just see when the yogurt has solidified and it's not liquidy still. So this is what I have here. So look at that. I had made this ahead of time. So you can look at that. Look how nicely solidified that is, and it looks delicious. Super delicious. I do want to mention that those that are lactose intolerant, you can still enjoy yogurt. So most of you already know there's a brand called Lactaid, and you can buy the whole milk from that brand, and you can use that to make your yogurt. And the taste is just the same, and it is just as delicious as the regular version. And those of you that don't do milk or dairy free, like you use almond milk, for example, you can still make yogurt at home. You'll be using a probiotic capsule as your yogurt starter. So I use yogurt in a lot of my recipes. The two most popular recipes of mine are my yogurt parfaits and my salad dressings. So I love to have my yogurt parfaits with my homemade yogurt with some berries and with my favorite grain-free granola or cereal. My salad dressings are also very popular that I'll be sharing with you guys later on, so please stay tuned for that. I love to have my salad dressing with my homemade yogurt, and I've been having this for about 10 years now, and I never bought dressings from the grocery store ever again. Like, even when I taste it now, it just doesn't taste good at all after you have the homemade version, even if you buy the yogurt-based ones. So homemade yogurt is very delicious, and you should definitely try this recipe and definitely start making yogurt at home. And those of you that enjoy flavored yogurts, you can still enjoy those at home. All you have to do is just add in your favorite fruit. Like if you like strawberry yogurt, just add in some strawberries. And if you want to add some vanilla, you can add some vanilla. And then just add your favorite low-carb sweetener, like allulose, for example. And then that's it. You can easily enjoy flavored yogurt at home as well. Alrighty, so let's taste this now. Wow, look at that. Just look at that. This looks so good, so delicious. Look how nicely it's solidified. I do want to mention that there is going to be some water in the yogurt, and that's just normal because that is just the water from the yogurt. So don't worry about that. Do not dispose it. It is very delicious and very flavorful. You can add it in smoothies, like if you like to make yogurt smoothies. So do not waste that at all. Now it's time to taste. I love that it just melts in the mouth. It's so creamy. You know, I do want to emphasize that it's very important that you add the right amount of starter. We added 2 tablespoons in the 10 cups of milk. You want to make sure that you do add 2 tablespoons, because if you add a lot more yogurt starter, then your yogurt can become a bit sour. So you don't want to have that won't be good. So make sure you do add the right amount of starter. That's very important. This is very delicious. I can eat this whole bowl just like this. If you enjoyed this recipe, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Crush Carb. Try it out and let me know in the comments below how you liked it. So until next time, let's keep cooking, experimenting, and as always, let's keep crushing carbs.